Hello everyone and welcome back to the ASQ CQM exam preparation. Today's presentation is about Chapter 2, Lesson 3, Change Management. In today's presentation, we're going to take the first part of this lesson, components and types of changes. So, what is change? It is a structured approach to change from a current state to a desired future state using a control methodology to plan, implement, and sustain the change. This will include assessing readiness, defining the scope of change, developing a structured model. So, why organizations need to change? To respond to external and internal environments, align change with organizational strategy, improve process, performance, and even cultures, ensure changes and ensure changes are adopted, sustained, and effective. When is change needed? A change is needed to adapt to two types of factors, external factors and internal factors. External factors would include customer demand, competition, changes in cost, ethics and social values, technological changes. Internal factors would include need to increase profit and cash flow, inefficiency, lack of competitiveness, human resources management issues, or organizational culture issues. So we have four components of change: planning, stakeholder management, communicating change, training, and supporting the change. Let's start with planning. Planning for change is about identify the need for change, define the scope, objectives, and success measurements, assess readiness, people, procedures, resources, develop a change plan. That was about planning for change. Second is stakeholder management. Identify key stakeholders, analyze influence, interest, and impact, engage early and throughout the process. Now, the third component of change is communicating the change, which is very important. It's about explaining why change is needed. This is used to avoid the resistance of change. Sharing what will change and how. Use multiple channels. What we mean by multiple channels are emails, letters, phone calls, seminars, etc. Provide continuous update and feedback loops. And the last component is training and supporting the change. Build skills and knowledge required for the new state. Provide tools, coaching, reinforcing. So, training and supporting the change is important for sustaining this change. We have three main type of changes: breakthrough, step change, and incremental change. Let's start defining each at a time. Breakthrough change, innovative change. This kind is innovative, significant, radial, transformative change producing dramatic improvements, big improvement in performance, quality, or process. It involves the DMADV, which means define, measure, analyze, design, verify. And this will be explained in later presentations separately. An example of a breakthrough change is like using ERP system, not improving the ERP system. We were in a state of not using the ERP system, and now we are in a breakthrough change of using an ERP system. As you can see in the chart, the old state was poor, and there was a breakthrough change to the new state, which is better. And this was a breakthrough change and not by steps or incremental change. The other kind of change is step changes. Step improvement, noticeable, significant improvement, but in small increments. It is not as disruptive as the breakthrough change. An example is that the DMAIC, which means define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So again to the same slide, DMAIC means define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. An example is reducing process cycle time from 10 days to 5 days by optimizing workflow. So each day we are making a small reduction in the cycle time, as you can see in this chart or graph. We did not make it in one step, we make it in multiple steps. The third kind is incremental changes. It is also called continuous adaptation or continuous improvement. It is a low risk, gradual, continuous improvement that makes small adjustments to existing process, products, or services without causing a major disruption. It is the most common form of change in organizations, usually called continuous improvement. We have four change models: Lewin's change management, PDCA, risk assessment analysis, and process mapping. Today we're gonna talk about Lewin's change management. PDCA, risk assessment, and process mapping will be thoroughly, and independently taken later presentations. So what is Lewin's change management? It is of 3 steps. When you want to make it change, you unfreeze, then you change, then you refreeze. So first you unfreeze, you prepare the organizations to accept the changes. You are breaking down the existing status before changing. You unfreeze the process in preparation for the change. The second step is to make the change, which is that transaction, moving from the old way to the new state. Most difficult stage, since people feel uncertain and they might resist. And the third stage is refreeze, stabilize the organization after the change has been made, reinforce the change to become a norm. Now, resistance of change. Why is change resisted? Mistrust and lack of confidence in the new forms or the new changes. Emotional responses. This is emotional. It's normal that people resist change. Fear of failure. People are adapted to the old method and they are afraid to fail in the new method. Poor communication. Usually, when a change is not communicated, it is resisted. Unrealistic timelines, like when you request a change with an unrealistic timeline. Force filled analysis. So, what is a force filled analysis? It's used to evaluate the driving forces that supports a change and the resisting forces that resist it. Managers use it to map out the pros and the cons, identify resistance, and develop strategies to strengthen drivers or reduce barriers. In other words, managers use it to take a decision whether to go for a change or not. The force field analysis will be described later in our next presentation. Thank you for attending. Please follow up. Please follow us to stay tuned and receive more of our ASQ CQM presentations.